13 jurors. Hello. Thank you for joining us. It feels like it's only been 27 seconds since I saw y'all. We just left the courtroom. I appreciate y'all coming to hang out with us. We have a special guest. I'm so excited to have him here to answer all of our nosy questions. I know y'all ain't here to see me, so I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Bryson Boompal, hello. How are you?
What up? What's going on? How's everybody doing?
We appreciate you so much coming on with us. I had mentioned to you that we follow your live tweets during the day, and we're always trying to get all the inside information. Every time there's a break or another sidebar.
Or an objection? Yeah, I'm saying an objection or a sidebar. Yeah.
Yeah, we do account for them now because they've gotten so ridiculous. So we had said something about, oh, well, you could make it a drinking game and do a shot every time there's a sidebar, but that's not a good idea. So
not in the middle of the day.
So but now it's like, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, if it's still like early time, then we're going to make it a healthy thing. So it's either do squats or do a shot. So every time there's a sidebar, now we say take a shot or do a squat, sidebar time. So, and there we have a sidebar counter going. There's a lot of them. But anytime there's a sidebar, we also, I'll go check your Twitter. So, I am going to jump right to it. Okay, I've got some of the questions that some people have sent. So I'm going to go through some of those, and I've got some of my own too, because I'm nosy. But I have, there's some of our members here have started following you all during this. So I had a few people asking me, because they liked your style, like the way you tweet. They wanted to know what else you cover. I know that you're a journalist. You've done a bunch of different things for different magazines and things like that. So they want to know what else you are working on and where else they can see you.
Well, that's a good question. So actually, I was originally a journalist. That's how I got offered this opportunity. So I've been a journalist since high school, roughly. I've been doing it professionally since 2007. 2006, maybe even. I started a magazine in college. I thought it was trash at first, but everybody loved it. So I just kept going with it. And then I was like, well, I want to get my name out like a byline, like the ones I would read in the newspaper or whatnot. So I started doing freelance work or started blogging and everything in that avenue and got myself here. I've interviewed, obviously I do on-camera interviews too I've done it for This Is 50 before and for The Source and for other platforms. People I've interviewed, 50 Cent, pretty much any big name person you could think of. I believe I've interviewed them outside of Beyonce and Jay-Z. So
that's awesome. And one of the big questions that I had too is I get all kinds of stuff about the jury. So I know that you've tweeted a little bit about the makeup of the jury, but there's a lot of questions about how the jury is reacting to some of the testimony, how they're reacting to the attorneys, and to like Melly laughing with his attorney and things like that. Have you noticed any reactions from them about any of that?
Not so much on Melly's part, but they're very attentive and very very informed on like all the evidence and all the prosecution's witnesses, and they're really in tune with everything that is being said on the witness stand. So they have, it's a mixed bunch, man. Actually, it's I believe their age range is around 33 to 50 at the most.
Gotcha.
It's majority women, which is shocking to me. And then it was six black men and women on the jury too, which also shocked me myself.
Gotcha.
But the jury is they're very attentive. As far as his antics go, they pay attention to him doing the prayers or whatnot, but not too much as they would pay attention to who's on the stand. So.
Gotcha. Do they seem to, I know that we've heard from some people in different courtrooms and stuff that, jurors will react differently to different attorneys. Do they seem to react differently to prosecution versus defense or any of the attorneys?
Honestly, in that point, I would say I haven't noticed that. I haven't noticed them act any different towards the prosecution as they would the defense, or the defense as would they would the prosecution. They're just listening to the statements right now. It's still early in the trial. It's only day 6, and people are already online. Like, when is it gonna be over? Like, this is taking too long. But remember, they gotta have all the evidence be shown before they really make a judgment, and let alone it's a man's life on the line. So it's nothing to play with. So
yeah. And we have oh, here's one of the questions too. I'm going to try to take some of these too as we go, because I've got my ones that people emailed me, but I'm going to try to take some of these as we go too. What evidence has the jury most reacted to?
Good question, Monica. No, there hasn't been anything out the ordinary that the jury has reacted to. Now, there's been some strange things happen, some stranger things happen during the trial that they would definitely react to. But literally, a Stranger Things jacket was submitted into evidence. But at the moment, I can't recall anything that would like strike the jury in any kind of way, or throw them off, or even surprise them, as far as I've noticed. So,
gotcha. Okay, so I've read some of your tweets about the tension that seems to be happening between Sack and Juvie's moms and Melly, and also their moms and Jamie. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I know you. There was one day where you said that one of the moms was like dead staring at him, kind of waiting on him to look back.
That's more like every day.
Oh, is it?
In the courtroom, that's every day. But as far as the gallery, as far as wanting to jump over the table and get to Melly, on the victim side, yes, all the time. Both victims' moms, Sack Chaser and Juvie's mom, both look like they want to jump over that counter and choke Melly out. But we got to remember, it's not only two people that are two friends that lost their lives. Like, these people have been around each other like their whole lives. Like, both sides of the gallery, like Melly's family and Sack Chaser and Juvie's family and Bortland's family even have been amongst each other and like treated each other like family since these dudes were in diapers, I would say, or babies. No, actually, in the documentary, he said he met him in kindergarten. So it's pretty much since babies. Sack Chaser came from Atlanta, probably like in junior high school, so he came last. But Juvie and Melly and Juvie, Melly, and Bortland have pretty much been born and raised in Gifford. So,
gotcha. And we've all seen the laughing and the talking with Melly and his attorney. And I had this question emailed to me a lot. Do you know what they're talking about or what they're laughing about? Is there anything that you've been able to hear?
Nah, nobody knows what they're talking about. Honestly, they're clear across the room at the defense table. And if you could read lips, you can know what they're talking about. But other than that, no.
Yeah. And I know you said on your Instagram live last night, you said that there was an Instagram that's out there where they're reading his lips, right?
Yeah. There's an Instagram video that shows like somebody was reading his lips when he got upset last week. I want to say it was on Wednesday. Gotcha. Wednesday or Thursday, when he got upset, and he like at the end of trial, they thought he was upset, but from what the lip reader read, he was okay. He was good. He was just making sure his mom was okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Is the jury taking notes? I know some
yes.
They're allowed to.
Each one of the jury members have a notepad, so they're definitely taking notes.
Gotcha. Is anyone giving the ex-girlfriend's mama the side eye because how she has short-term memory loss? Okay, so this was a big point of talking in chat too, because I don't think that out of the however many people that we had in here that day, I don't think anybody believed that she really forgot all of that. So how was the reaction to her amnesia in the gallery?
On the victim side, they were upset. they thought, because she came in on the prosecution side, so that usually means that, you know, they're going to come in and their testimony is going to be something that affects the defendant, whereas she came in and she acted like she had pretty much amnesia. Or not amnesia, but she said I went through a lot during that time, so it's a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of mixed memories. I can't really tell you or recall what was said during that time, being that I was, you know, going through a lot and I'm still affected by the trauma. So as far as them giving her the side eye, yeah, but not so much more than the prosecution, obviously, or the prosecutor. Obviously, the prosecutor was the one that was frustrated the most visibly. So they had, obviously, she treated her like a hostile witness, and I would say Felicia Holmes still put it on the floor.
Yeah. Did you? I saw your tweet too that when she was up there and when the Instagram messages came out and she was talking about Miss Snitch Bitch and stuff, that I saw your tweet that Melly did like a motion or something.
So the prosecutor showed the courtroom a picture, I mean an Instagram like caption that she had made. I don't know exactly when, but she had made, and it was in her deposition, and our affidavit, not deposition, affidavit. But it was pretty much her explaining, like, you know, I quit my job on the faith of them saying they were going to take care of us until the trial was over. They didn't. We haven't gotten anything from Melly or his crew. So I'm going to go on the stand, and when I testify, I'm start telling everything. And the prosecutor showed her the message and said, "Is this your Instagram account?" And Felicia Holmes said yes, and still said, "But I don't remember making this message." So
gotcha.
It was pretty much admissible after a while. So
yeah, I think she kind of made, she made both sides mad, it seemed like. And Mariah was supposed to be there before her, wasn't she?
I would feel like anybody would have noticed something was up when they were like, "Do you know Melly?" And she was like, "Yeah, I know him." And then they were like, "Can you point him out in the room?" And she pointed him out, and she had a smile on her face. So that could have went any way, but after hearing the testimony, that was pretty much like the spark of everything that was going to transpire after that. So.
Yeah. Okay. One of the things is all the sidebars. How are people reacting to that? I've never seen this many sidebars in a trial before. There's so many.
I don't think Judge Murphy has seen as many sidebars in any case that he's done in his. I believe he's been doing it for 25 years now. So he's been a judge for 25, or no, he was a lawyer for 25 years, and he's been a judge since like the early 2000s. So
gotcha.
He was elected in the early 2000s. He got reelected actually too. So yeah, he's been a judge for since the early 2000s. And then the sidebars, even today, he was like, "Hey, no objections, no," like he was like, "Hey, I'm not really trying to do this all day." Like even today, they still had 3 or 4 witnesses testify, but the length of the trial for them to testify could have been done in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, without the objections.
Has there been any, because I know that we've talked a little bit about, and you've tweeted about the tension between the families. Have there been any like run-ins in the hall or outside, or any kind of tension that that we haven't been able to hear of because of all that?
Oddly enough, both sides of the families are in the hallway, and they are in the courtroom, and they are like, they frequently see each other. But no, there hasn't been any issues or anything, any outbursts or anything of that nature. So I'm sure they're doing that just for the trial. Like I know, especially on the victim side, I know they, just based on the animosity that they show on a regular basis, I know they want to just be like, forget the courtroom, let's just do it like in the street way. But they hold they remain calm, and they don't do anything.
Yeah. Well, that's good for now. Let's see how long that lasts. If that
we'll see what happens when the verdict is, when the verdict trial. So we'll see how calm and cool, collected they are. They pray a lot. The victim's family, especially Juvie and Sack Chaser's mom, you know, Sack Chaser's mom especially, she cries every time she sees Sack Chaser's pictures, video, surveillance video, anything of him still alive. She's inconsolable. So Juvie's mom is more angered when she sees pictures of her son, and that's when she'll look at Melly and be like, and you're gonna look at me, I'm gonna look you in your eyes and whatnot until you look at me. So
yeah. Oh gosh. Who has had more support in the courtroom, the defendant or the victims? I know that's a small courtroom too.
It's a nice size.
Oh, is it? It looks small in the pictures and stuff that we've seen.
It's the cameras. It's the cameras, so.
Okay.
But it's a nice size courtroom. Like the first day, obviously it was overcrowded, but after the first 2 days, I want to say it like leveled out, and it wasn't like you couldn't find a seat or whatnot. You were able to sit comfortably around throughout the courtroom. So, but to answer your question, as far as the support, it would definitely be on the defendant side, especially with the A-list stars that come and show their support for Melly during this trial. So
yeah, gotcha. And I know that there's been a lot of interaction between, you can see Melly and the whoever's in the gallery, and I know that we know that some of it's been Jamie, that his mom, that he's been talking to and reacting to. Who has he other than his mom and I'm sure his brother? Who has he tried to communicate with the most, I guess, or who's he been had the most reaction to seeing there
in the gallery?
Yeah,
definitely Boosie. That was Boosie was the one that, because I mean both days he showed up. Like before he showed up, like Melly was very sad. He appeared sad. He appeared like temperamental. He appeared annoyed. He showed a lot of different emotions, but when Boosie showed up, that's when it lifted his spirits and he was happy. He was smiling like we saw. He was very positive and whatnot. And that was on both days. So the second day, the first half of the trial, he was, you know, back to his like temperamental self, like annoyed, everything frustrated. And then when Boosie showed up, that lifted his spirits. Now, I don't know if he was waiting on Boosie to show up the whole time and thinking that that's what was going to help him out, but or help him out as far as remaining calm in the courtroom. So, but that's pretty much what happened when Boosie showed up. That's when he was excited. He showed new life.
Gotcha. So as far as the witnesses go so far, which one do you think has had the most impact one way or the other?
Felicia Holmes. Felicia Holmes I think she had the most impact. I mean, we had the firearm expert that, you know, talks for 3 hours, and I feel like people got a TED Talk conversation and didn't. They may have got a lot of information and a lot of clarity, but I feel like the length of his testimony probably drowned out any type of thought on what the jury would convince the jury that Melly either did it or didn't do it. I think they were just like, okay, we learned a lot about firearms. Now we got certificates, like the attorney said, Melly's attorney said when he took the stand, he was like, hey, you know, we all got certificates now thanks to your testimony. So
yeah. Oh, that one was so long. You know, and it's funny because you can only pay attention for so long sometimes. And I know that in chat, we've got, you know, everybody's got each other to chat with and stuff. So it's easier to get distracted when things get long like that. The testimony gets long like that. So I can't imagine the jury not being able to chat or go, you know, fix themselves a drink or go do something else, like to just sit there the entire time. That would be.
Well, we did have one juror doze off. So appeared to doze off. So yeah, it was a long trial day that day.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. Everybody wanted to know what happened to the bailiff that was caught on the hot mic talking about the lawyer.
Nothing happened to him. He realized that he got caught talking hot on the mic. I mean, the next day he asked us, he was like, hey, is this mic on? He's like, because y'all caught me slipping yesterday. But nothing happened to him. He was working the back of the courtroom just the next day like everybody else.
Yeah. That was funny. We were I'm always trying to, anytime there's a hot mic moment, I'm sitting there like this, like with my, headphones pushed up as much as I can. I'm nosy. I want to hear everything. So we try to get as many of those as we can. But let's see. Uh we asked that one. Some of these I know I put them all on one thing, and some of them multiple people asked. Let's see.
Sorry.
What seems to be the general impression of how the case is going? Now, this is one of the things that goes back and forth. Our chat is very split with people, not necessarily guilty or innocent, but which side. Well, let me rephrase. Not necessarily whether he is guilty or innocent, but whether the verdict will be guilty or not guilty based on how the trial is going. And the defense, man, his defense team,
Yeah.
if I was ever needing somebody to fight for me, his defense team has done an incredible job.
Yeah, he has David Howard and Raven Ramona Liberty, which are two lawyers that have dealt with hip hop artists before in the past. Liberty has helped Kodak Black get out of a probation violation in 2017.
Yeah.
And David Howard honestly helped Boosie get acquitted for his death penalty case in 2012, I believe. So,
yeah.
And then as far as the sway, I can say honestly, looking at the polls on the live stream, there have been in the last 2 days, there were 74% that believe he's not guilty, and 77% today believe he was not guilty. He would be.
Oh, really?
That would be his verdict, not he is. The verdict would be not guilty on both days. Yesterday was 74%, and today was 77%.
Gotcha. Wow. The cell phone data today, we had a lot of people talking about that. And I do a lot of graphics and stuff. I take a lot of the information and I'll graph it out and try to make it easier to understand. So I tried to do it on lunch break as much as I could because, when they show their charts, everything's separate and you can't really tell what's what. Looking at their stuff and listening to them go on and on and on about it, it's a little bit harder to understand. Do you think that the jury is able to comprehend the cell phone data and what all they were saying?
I mean, they're not experts at it, but they aren't unaware. They're very informed on everything that is being thrown at them while they listen to these testimonies. So they're very smart. They know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what these graphs mean. I mean, especially after the hour-long explanations that we get from each one of the witnesses before we even get any infographics. So yes, they are very well aware.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? I'm trying to see some of these too instead of just my list so that I can involve people with this, but I get so caught up in my list, I get excited. All right, let's see.
Go ahead.
Do you have an opinion as far as if you think that it will be a guilty or not guilty verdict?
After 6 days, no, I don't. I mean, a lot can happen. The defense has been very on point these last 6 days, but we still got all the way until the end of July until the case is over. So who's to say that the next 3 weeks the prosecution switches up and rips it out the plastic and act brand new? So
yeah. The I go back and forth a lot too because the defense does do such a great job, and I feel like there is a lot of evidence that doesn't look great for him, but the defense does a great job at picking those holes. But one thing that has been a big topic in here, speaking of evidence, is trying to slip evidence in there as much as possible. There's been, so with the whole mistrial thing, that was one of those things where we kind of sat here and watched like, oh my gosh, after he told her not to do it and she kept pushing and then she just flat out did it. Did you think that he was going to call a mistrial for that?
No. I never thought they were gonna have a mistrial at all, since I mean it was announced that he made that decision on Friday. Well, we had to all wait until Tuesday, but I never thought he would do a mistrial at all. I thought he would just give her a warning, or like he did, but just let the trial continue, being that it was too early to try and even do a mistrial at the point. But not to say that he hasn't done a mistrial before, because he has. He did one in, I believe, 2017. He did a mistrial for a murder case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And this is the first death penalty case that this prosecutor has done, right? I think I remember reading that somewhere.
Yeah, she just got her. Actually, she was just barred in 2010.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wow. All right, let's see. Pam wants to know, do you believe the juror who said, the juror who said
Hey,
that
wait, hold on. This might not be the first death penalty case she has been a part of, but this is definitely the first death penalty case that she's led. That would be a better statement. That would be a better statement for that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. The juror who said that asked about the mistrial and asked about if the status on that. Do you believe that it was just questioning the motion that was made in court, or do you think that there's a chance that they have looked some stuff up?
No, it was the one they did in court on Thursday. It was that one. Like Howard popped up and he said motion to or move to mistrial. He said that before they stopped everything and had the jury leave the room. It was like his objection. He said objection, move to mistrial. And
so you think that when the juror asked about it, that they really were just asking because they heard him say it and not. You think they haven't looked into it?
I mean, the jury are human beings just like us. They're smart. They know. They probably watch a lot of court TV too, or not Law and Crime and whatever court shows. They know everything that's going on. So of course they're gonna ask the same questions that we would ask too. We were asking about it all weekend, so why wouldn't they ask? So, gotcha. They heard the same thing. They heard the same thing we heard. So
yeah. All right, let's see. Do you think that the judge warned the defense about all the objections that seemed to run smoother today? We had a count on that.
Yeah, there were still a lot of objections. He made even the judge said, "Hey, look, no objection to this. Just listen." So
yeah,
I would say no, he didn't warn them at all. They just have a lot to object, but they have a lot of potholes to fill, and they make sure they fill every one of them. So
yeah. How are people reacting today to the DNA evidence? Was there any kind of how was the?
If you ask people online, they were confused. As you can see, they didn't know what none of that meant after he had talked for almost an hour. Yeah. So they knew what none of that meant. So him saying we know it was concluded that Melly did have DNA on the scene or all around when he was around all four of them, it just opened up more questions. Like, how is that? Of course, we all know he was in the Jeep. We all know he was in the car that night. That still doesn't say he didn't get out the car at some point in time. It doesn't say that he stayed in the car and killed these two men or two of his best friends. Like, it doesn't say anything. It just says hey, his DNA presence was there. Pretty much.
Yeah. All right, let's see. The tension, that one we've already kind of addressed. Let's see. The tension between the judge and the attorney David A. Howard. That one day when he laughed and the judge said, "Is something funny?" And you could tell that it was kind of like one of those mad dad moments, where you could tell he was kind of trying to be like, "Oh, I meant no disrespect," and he did apologize a couple times. But have there been any other moments that maybe we didn't see where the judge seems to get the dad voice going with him and gets mad?
Other than today, where the prosecution was trying to sneak in that evidence, but other than that, no, just the hey, no disrespect, or what's so funny, and the prosecution trying to slip in that evidence last thing. So.
Gotcha. Let's see. The day Felicia testified before she got in the stand, Melly was rocking back and forth like he was scared. Oh, I think I saw your tweet that he was rocking back and forth. That was the day that it was. You said he was rocking back and forth, but it seemed like he was cold. Was that the day it was so cold in the courtroom, or is it always cold in there? Wasn't that your tweet?
Not. It was cold in there that day, but when you talking about when he was rocking back and forth and pacing and being antsy, yeah, it was cold. Everybody was cold that day. For some, that was one of the earlier days, so that had to be like Tuesday, or yeah, it had to be like Tuesday because everybody was cold. Because I remember Wednesday and Thursday, everybody had big jackets. They were well prepared for this courtroom.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it had to be that. So he was rocking back and forth. It had to do a lot with him being cold. And you know what happens when you get cold? You get tired.
Yeah.
And obviously he's on trial fighting for his life, listening to these people make statements about him, like judge his character, judge everything about him, his whereabouts that night, everything on top of, hey, your life is on the line, like in front of these 12 jurors that can pretty much tell you he needs to be served with the death penalty or he needs to be let go. So it's you're gonna pace back and forth. You're gonna, especially you cold, it's gonna weigh on you.
Yeah. This one has come up a lot too. People in chat every single day are talking about whether or not Bortland will testify.
No, I don't think Bortland will testify unless some surprise or unexpected occurrence happens. But I don't think Bortland will testify without incriminating himself. Meanwhile, he's also set to be on trial for these same offenses. And he is looking at life in prison, not the death penalty, but it's still the same offenses. So yeah, even if he did take the stand, I'm sure he would just plead the fifth or say, I don't want to incriminate myself. So
that's kind of what I said too. I didn't think he would because of his October trial. Let's see. How many alternate jurors are there? We were wondering about yesterday.
Well, it's 15. It's 15 jurors in the jury box, and 3 of them are alternates.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we were worried about that when they were talking about the one that was on the IV with dehydration after food poisoning or whatever. What was that yesterday? All my days.
That was rather peculiar too, but I don't understand why. I mean, it was the one juror was out, but I think they didn't want to. They weren't looking to replace her, so that's why they didn't use the alternates. I think she said she was going to be able to come back. They got the confirmation that she was going to be able to come back, so they just was like, "We'll just wait and just have her continue on with the trial instead of using the alternates." Because there's no point in using the alternate for one day just for them to be on the official jury one day, and then the next day they back to being an alternate.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you, Young Seminole, for the super chat. He says didn't find Melly's DNA the first time. So that's something they talked about today when they did the door handle testing. The first time they ran it through, he said that there was a 2-person or 2 profiles that came back, and then when they did it again with different technology, that it was the 3.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what do you make of that? I know that the defense made sure to point that out in the time frames and all of that. So what do you make of that?
It was just based on the time frame, really. Obviously, Melly has been in jail since 2019, and they did this whole DNA sampling in 2021. So it's kind of not hard to identify, but kind of hard to convince us that, okay, so 3 years, his fingerprints out on there for 3 years. All right, something's not adding up. The math's not mathing.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we have. The sister. I had this question emailed to me a couple of times too. The sister that Juvie and Bortland share. And I know that Juvie's dad had mentioned that in the interview that he did with Anjanette too. Has she been in the courtroom at all?
The little sister? No. She's I don't believe she has. Honestly, I can't say that she has. Most Melly's sister has been in there, but I haven't seen Juvie. Actually, I wouldn't think Juvie's sister would be there, honestly, especially with Juvie's mom being there and what Juvie's dad said in the interview as far as like she's on Melly's side. So no, I don't think she would be there. I don't recall her ever being in there. So
Gotcha. And speaking of the families, and especially the younger of the families, the tweets that you had that one day about the younger family members who came in and they were, you said they were, when Melly yawned, they were trolling him and stuff like that. Tell me about that. I want to know all about that. I was following your tweets trying to find out exactly what was happening.
So, it's been the victims' families have brought in like their younger siblings or younger relatives, a lot younger. So between like the ages of like 10 to 12, maybe. I mean, it's probably been 2 or 3 that have been like 14, 15, I could say at the most, that appear to be 14, 15. But other than that, they had a lot of younger siblings in there. And like, if you have grown up in church, you would know, like, remember when you grew up in church and you young, you in the back of the church and you back there playing around and you like, you got your grandma or you got the elder person in the back watching you guys. And you guys aren't really paying attention to the sermon or anything like that. You guys are, being kids, playing around, mingling amongst each other, doing dance moves, trying to be funny, like really not paying attention to anything going on in the room other than what you guys have going on in your immediate circle. It's pretty much how they were the whole time.
Gotcha. I thought that was hilarious when you said that when he yawned, they were like trolling him, making faces.
Like kids would do. Kids would do. It's like, okay, he's on trial facing the death penalty, and this is the person that they allegedly say killed your relatives, and you're back in the back doing like TikTok dances and whatnot. So it just wasn't a place for them to be.
Yeah. All right, so let's see what else. Fredo Bang. Let's talk about him, Frederick Givens. I saw that when I was pulling all the court documents, I saw that they did try to serve him with a subpoena, and then there were motions filed saying that he couldn't come in to give his deposition, that the subpoena wasn't served right, and that he was going to be on tour, so he couldn't give a deposition, and all of that. Is he on the witness list? I have the potential witness list that they originally did, and I know there's been a lot of
stuff. There's no confirmation that he's on any witness list, and I don't think he would plan to be, being like you said, he's on tour, he's doing every other thing, and he doesn't have time. I guess doesn't have time to appear in court, especially having a minimal part to play supposedly in this situation. Gotcha. Like he was like, I just picked up a friend. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened between then and there. I'm just picking up a friend and taking him back to my house, and we gonna chill. And that's all I know about the situation. I don't know anything else going on. And he's a high profile artist, so of course his lawyer is gonna come in. If anything, if you try and serve him with a subpoena, you gotta have to speak to his lawyer first for anything. Just like Felicia Holmes did, where she had to get confirmation from her lawyer first if she should take the stand or not before the prosecution, put an ankle monitor on her and subpoena her to testify. So
gotcha. All right, let's see. I'm trying not to just go by the list. I'm trying to look at y'all's questions live too, but y'all know I get distracted. Jilcy says, I must say we've gotten more information about this trial from Bryson sitting here than from sitting here the last 6 days. We've had a lot of questions, so I'm glad you're
here. I've definitely gave a lot of commentary and context to what's going on in the courtroom. Now, as far as giving up more information about this trial than the actual witnesses and prosecutor and defense, now that might be a different story.
Will Mariah testify? I know that Felicia said that she doesn't know where she's at, and I also know that I don't believe that for a second. Do you think that they will get Mariah in there to testify?
So what happened on Thursday morning? So what happened on Thursday morning? The judge railroaded the prosecution about using these Snapchat images photos that they planned to use that had Melly, and the judge said that they can use some of the photos, but not all of them. The ones that contained him with a firearm or him with cash, they had to be removed and be made, and they were found inadmissible. So with that, the prosecution thought it would be a better idea to call their two big witnesses to the stand, first being Mariah Hamilton. That was the one they were going to call to the stand first. She had to be there if they were going to call her first. If she wasn't, I don't know how they were going to pull this off, but they were going to pull it off some kind of way. Teleporter, something, whatever. But the defense objected, saying like it's his ex-girlfriend, it doesn't count. That's conflict of interest, maybe even. But so they were like, okay, cool. The prosecution was like, we'll just call her mother to the stand then, and the judge allowed them to call her mother to the stand. So here we have Felicia Holmes come to the stand, or comes take the stand and deliver the performance of the trial, the biggest moment of the trial, I would say. So
Yeah.
So far, the biggest moment of the trial so far. The biggest moment won't be until the verdict. I'm telling you, that'll be the biggest moment. But the biggest moment so far is Felicia Holmes.
Yeah. The verdict's going to be wild. Oh, wild. I don't see how there will be peace in the courtroom either, because no matter what the verdict is, I don't know how emotional.
Well, what would happen, I'm sure, with the verdict, whether it goes either way, the families would be walked out separately. Like they would have to wait until the other one left the premises, I'm sure. Possibly.
Oh goodness. All right, let's see what else we have. He's got a chat just moved. I don't see it now. He's got a new girlfriend though, or he did. Are they still
Aaron
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not together. I think they were just dating. It wasn't even like a serious thing. They were just dating. So.
Oh, gotcha. Was she part of the stripper party? I think I read that the stripper party was his mom and Aaron threw it for him, right?
I don't know about all that, but I can't confirm that. But they did have a birthday party for him. Or no, it was for the mom. No, actually, no, it was, never mind. I stand corrected. It was for him. They had a party outside the courthouse, and they brought out strippers, and he got.
I've seen the video.
Yeah, he got to see it and banged on the glass, and they were so happy that he got to see it. So for his birthday, so yeah.
I've seen the video.
But I can't confirm that it was her in the video. I haven't really seen the video. I just heard about it.
Oh, you're missing out. There's some gymnastics moves on those young ladies. All right, let's see. What else? Y'all know I had to ask about the stripper party. All right, what else? Let's see. So the Snapchats. You mentioned the Snapchats. So I saw your tweet too about because I know we watched as he said what could and couldn't be let in, and you had said something about that the victims' moms were talking about the confession. Is that right? They said that it was a confession.
Yeah.
So they
had videos they believe had like evidence that would show that he confessed to like the murder of Sack Chaser and Julie, but even just that, it wasn't concrete to be like, yes, he's admitting guilt. So
gotcha.
They just, obviously it's the victim's family. You got to remember, they're willing to, if you told them like, hey, we got the murder weapon outside, and we got the murder weapon outside and it's 10 feet underground, they're going to believe you. They're going to go out there and dig 10 feet to see if it's there or not. They're that reliable on finding out the truth, or that desire to find the truth, that they want to know. They're willing to do anything to get it. So if you tell them like, hey, it's Snapchat videos or conversations that show that he said, hey, I did it, then they're going to believe it. Just saying like, hey, somebody said that he has a video that shows that, or he has a message that said he did it, but he could be talking about anything. He could be saying like, I ate the last pizza, or yeah, I hit that car, or I did it. Yeah, I was with her, or I was with this lady. Shh, don't say nothing. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Gotcha. Do you know what the story is? I mean, okay, obviously we know it wasn't a drive-by. Like, I think if there's one thing they've proven without, beyond a reasonable doubt, it's that it was not a drive-by.
Okay,
So
investigators say it's not a drive-by, but Borland's testimony at the hospital was it was a drive-by. So we definitely do not have concrete proof that either side is wrong, pretty much. The investigators investigated and they said this doesn't appear as a drive-by. Borland says it was a drive-by. Until we get the story in a trial, we get the full story, then we won't know until then. So.
To me, with the glass matching on the road and them finding it because they followed the cell locations and the shell casings and the door being open when one of the side bullets went through, and the side bullets coming, or like the drive-by bullets coming, according to the medical examiner's papers, after the death. To me, all of that stuff, I do keep an open mind with everything, but on that one, I feel like it wasn't a drive-by. So I feel like I'm curious to know if that story changes, or
honestly, I can admit that I've never seen a drive-by where one person didn't get hit, not once, that was in the car. So
yeah. And the back door is wide open so that the bullet goes into the door jamb. Not consistent with
either you just the luckiest person. Like, I've seen movies where people have said they've been in 7 drive-bys and haven't gotten shot one time. So that makes me lucky, but I haven't seen that in real life.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it in real life. Not that I haven't seen it, because if you see a drive-by, please run the other direction. Do not watch it.
Yeah, for real. I'm curious if that story ends up changing, or I guess with both of them, I don't think there's a chance in hell that either of them would actually testify. So I don't think that they would have the opportunity to even tell another story. But I was curious if you had any.
Right. No. We know just as much as you guys and what is said in the courtroom. So.
Gotcha.
There's plenty documentaries that explains in detail, like, the ideal incidents that happened that night based on like hospital records, police reports, and even a podcast reenacted what they said happened. If you go watch the Infamous podcast on Spotify, or not watch, but if you go listen to the Infamous podcast on Spotify, it's actually 2 years, or it'd be 1 year old, I think now. But it was by Sean Sitaro and it's narrated by Ace Hood, and it was presented by Complex, and it's on Spotify, only on Spotify. But they have a 8-episode series that goes through YNW Melly's life and leading up to everything that went on that night, the night of the murder on October 26th, 2018, and him preparing for court, him surrendering himself, and they got all the info, a lot of details. It's a really dope podcast to listen to. Gotcha.
I'll check that out. Let's see. Terry says, "Do you believe in forensics?"
Yes. That's like he said. That's junior high science class, like the prosecution said.
Yeah. Let's see. Everyone from Vero Beach thinks Melly and Cortland did it while Anthony and Chris was asleep. Oh.
I haven't heard that one before, but Vero Beach, Gifford, Vero Beach, Gifford, and Miramar have all kinds of stories about these guys and just leading up to that night. So,
yeah,
like I said, even in the documentary, if you hear it, even if Melly is found innocent, the people in Gifford don't even want him to come back to Gifford, and they was like, if he do, we're gonna handle it with our own justice. So.
Yeah. Gotcha. Let's see what else. The There were a few tweets that you had too, where Melly was getting annoyed with Sack Chaser and Juvie's moms and grandmothers and rolling his eyes and stuff.
Yeah, the grandmother was something else. The grandmother is definitely, she was the one that wouldn't bite her tongue for nothing. She made sure she said whatever was on her mind in that courtroom. And she also looked at Melly a lot too. She also looked at him in the corner, like look at him thinking he's all cool and he's gonna get away with this. Like, no, God's gonna take care of it. She was a very religious woman. She was like, God's gonna handle it. God's in this room, and God don't like ugly. And he noticed everything that this man is evil, and he's gonna come in and take over. And YNW Juvie and Sack Chaser's parents. Like I said, Sack Chaser's mom was more unconsolable. She was angry. She would look at him at times, but she was more unconsolable than anything. Like, she was just like, what's going on with this case? Like, are we going to find out what's going to happen? What does this evidence mean? What does this testimony mean? While as Juvie's mom is just, like you said, ready to jump out, jump off over the rail, and choke him out and stare at him. But Sack Chase's mom did say on Thursday that she was like, I'm not going anywhere. And she stared him in the face, and she said, I'm not going anywhere. And he laughed at her. He just laughed at her in the middle of the courtroom. He laughed at her, and she was like, you can laugh all you want. And he's like, I'm still not going anywhere. And Juvie's mom, he's just annoyed that, she is more pestering than anything. And this is during the trial. Like, she's not even listening to the witness testimony or not. She is literally like this, like,
oh wow,
at him the whole time, like, you're gonna look at me, you're gonna see me. So
wow.
but it makes it's also strange because while she's looking at him, Melly has a tattoo of Juvie across his face.
Yeah. And he has I know he has his mom on one side.
Yeah, Sack Chaser's mom on one side.
And Sack Chaser's, yeah.
Yeah, it's Sack Chaser's mom right here, but obviously that's the one that's covered up with the turtleneck. But Juvie's tattoo, it says Juvie right here across his face, and it has a heart.
Yeah.
Like a broken heart thing. And I think Sack Chaser is along his eyebrow. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we pulled those up when I did an intro video to kind of introduce everybody to this trial and kind of the background stuff. And so we pulled up a lot of his tattoos. And when I saw that, I was like, that's going to be, well, first of all, to each their own, do whatever you want. But I've never seen face tattoos with somebody's name while they're still.
All right. So it was a long time ago in an interview he did. It was a No Jumper interview at that. It was one of his very first interviews when he started to become like the star that he is today. Like, it was like very infant stage. But Adam 22 asked him, what's up with the tattoos on your face? You got names. And he told him it was Sack Chaser and Juvie. He was like, oh, when they pass away? He was like, they didn't. They sitting right there. He was like, Adam was like, he was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, they're my brothers. They're my twins. And he was like, oh, okay. I would usually get somebody's tattoo or name tattooed on my face if they died or something. He just had a smirk on his face. Like,
yeah.
Now, it's ironic if it leads up to, that's an ironic story to tell at the end of it all, like, as far as their friendship go. But that's what makes it even more awkward about this case. It's like, okay, you guys are saying that the prosecution saying he deserves the death penalty because he killed his two best friends in a gang related, like, profitable gang situation, when it's kind of hard to see somebody kill their two best friends. It's not impossible because there's plenty of movies, stories, news clippings that show that somebody killed their best friend over money. It could have been an accident or it could have been on purpose, but either way it goes, it happened. So it's still hard to say, like, who would kill their best friends, especially over something over money.
Yeah.
And then they have, obviously, we all saw the surveillance camera and them leaving the studio. It didn't look like they had any animosity towards each other or anything.
Right.
came from a late night studio session, and they were going to get in the car and go home and do like they regularly do. They all lived in the same place together, so
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, the motive is something that everybody's kind of talked a lot about, because we heard Juvy's dad, give his explanation of what he thinks it is. There's also been rumors that we've heard about, like racy pictures being sent, from his girlfriend, and we've heard things about the video that Jamie did, saying something about Sack and threatening her with a gun, and she said her guns are bigger and stuff. So we've heard that could be a possibility. So there's been a lot of talk about what could be the motive behind it if he did
it. Yeah, it's a lot of theories, a lot of rumors.
Yeah.
The way the justice system works is you got to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's what they're trying to do right now. So
yeah,
all that, I mean, the video of her sitting there saying like, I got bigger guns and whatnot, is obviously, it's all over social media and it's all over YouTube. So
right,
it's there, you could tell. And there's, like I said, there's plenty of documentaries that talk about YNW Melly, and they use all this footage, like the I got bigger guns from his mom, and other stuff that's not even related to this trial. So.
Yeah. If this is a bunch of people have talked to about if Francois is going to testify.
I haven't seen him I haven't seen his name other than on one document, but it wasn't a like defense or prosecution witness list. So, I mean, it's possible, but do you think that he would get up there and be on the prosecution side or be on the defense side? Obviously, he has a lot to play in this too. Now they're saying that he was the one that got rid of the murder weapon. So
yeah,
but he hasn't been arrested. He's still walking around. He hasn't been charged with anything. So I don't know how credible that would be.
Yeah. Why do you think Melly skipped both funerals?
I don't know. Chance, they said he went to one of the funerals. He just didn't stay that long because he was going to a video shoot. He was going to a video shoot. I remember. I think it was Juvy's. It was Juvy's funeral. He like made a pit stop at. They say. Now it's not confirmed that he went or not, but they saying that he made like a 5 or 10 minute like walkthrough at the funeral.
Yeah.
Fact chaser, he didn't show up at all. No, he was saying he was on his way over there and just never went. So we don't know where his whereabouts were after that.
Because I thought in the opening statement she said that he went, and then I thought in the interview, and I could be wrong because Lord knows I sit here and listen to stuff all day every day. But I thought in the opening statement she said that he went, and then in Juvy's dad's interview he said that he didn't. So I didn't know. I didn't know which was which, or maybe that's what I'm remembering is that he went to one and not the other. But
correct.
I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, I got really behind on chat. I'm trying to get y'all's questions. What else? Oh, is there anything that you have seen that you haven't been asked about yet that you think everybody should know, or that you want everybody to know? Anything major that stood out to you?
Oh, okay. So nobody has asked me about Felicia Holmes outside of the courtroom between her testimony, like I mentioned.
Yes.
So this is what happened. Here's the story.
Yes, I want to hear this.
So we break for lunch on Thursday. On Thursday when Felicia Holmes testifies, and she's obviously being the hostile witness that she is from the jump. And then we go to lunch. So I'm walking down the hallway to go down to tape, and then I realize I forget my AirPods. So I go run back to the courtroom to go get my AirPods. On my way running to the courtroom, I see Felicia Holmes and YNW Melly's younger brother, B Slime, in the hallway. And they're hugging and walking throughout the hallway of the courthouse, hugging, talking to each other, laughing, smiling, everything. That's what made me like, okay, something's going on. So obviously we continue on, go get the headphones, go back and do the taping, come back for court. And when we get back in there, she does the rest of what everybody saw. Her sitting there agitated, sitting there saying the prosecution was out to get her, the prosecution being frustrated and treating her like a hostile witness. Everything plays out the way it plays out. She walks out the courtroom like she was laughing to the bank, and for the prosecution, it was not a joke. But so what happens at the end of court? We all walk out. We're all waiting at heading to the elevators. Felicia Holmes gets into the elevator first. So she gets into the elevator with her husband, and right when she's about to get into the elevator and the elevator door is closed, YNW Melly's younger brother B Slime is standing there, and he says, "Hey, Felicia," and she said, "Yeah," and he said, "I love you," and he goes like this. This was after the testimony. This was after she was excused. So nobody has asked me about that at all. And I posted that in all the tweets and all my tweets and everything. So nobody's asked me about that at all. Nobody. Obviously, we could see that, there's something wrong with this witness. So.
Yeah. And, okay. So while we're on the topic of her, those Instagram messages, the ones about paying her and about her, taking care of her so that she doesn't talk to the prosecution and that type of stuff. So what are your thoughts on that? Because the whole thing about, I don't remember, I don't know if I said it, I don't know if it's her account. We're not stupid. Like I have an open mind, but I have common sense.
No, see, that's a good thing. That's what a lot of people would think. Like, no, it's her account. She's not stupid. Of course she did it. But if you guys go back and listen to Juvie's dad's sidebar podcast interview.
Yeah.
He says it himself that he says that Melly didn't even write the apologies or the farewells to Juvie and Sack Chaser like they thought. He had somebody else do it from an account or something, or had somebody else that he didn't know of get into his account and make that message. Anyway, he's trying to say that Melly didn't write it himself. Somebody else wrote it. It was just Melly's account. So if we go back, Felicia Holmes can say, yeah, that's my account. I never said that though, or I don't remember writing that, or I might have got hacked, or somebody might have said that to incriminate me. So we never know. The fact that she said, I don't recall, just kills every type of confidence that she was the one that did it as far as the prosecution and everybody in the courtroom is concerned.
I'm still confident she did it. I'm still confident she did it. And here's my thing about that. If it wasn't her, that's not something that you look at and say, I don't remember doing that. That's something you look at and be like, no, like I didn't know. This is not me. If it was, but if you say no and it's a lie, and you can, get in trouble for that. So saying I don't remember, I think was
I don't know.
Saying
I don't know is not a lie though.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. That's why she said I don't know. Because if she said
pretty
no,
much like saying pleading the fifth. Like I don't know. Like I can't say I did it because I don't recall it, but it's not to say I didn't do it, but it's not to say I did do it.
Yeah. I'm confident she did it. Okay, there's something else that we've heard a lot as far as the rumor stuff goes. That there was a fight between Melly and Sack a few days before this happened. I think Juvie's dad said something about it too. Do you know anything about that?
The fight is true, but I don't know if it was a couple days before it happened. But there is, like, they talked about a fight that happened between them where they believe Sack Chaser knocked Juvie's gold teeth, or not Juvie, but Melly's gold teeth out. But it's also on that infamous podcast episode too.
Gotcha.
It's in one of the episodes, not on the episode, but it's in one of the episodes where they talk about the fight, and they have an actual person that was there talk about what happened. The person that lived at the house with Melly, Sack Chaser, and Juvie and Bortland. is the one that tells the story. Like, yeah, he came in and he wanted to fight. He literally texted before he was on his way, said, "I'm going. Everybody getting it when I get there." And he said that we were brothers, so we figured that we fight to handle we still love each other, but we fight, to solve our problems if we have to. But it don't mean at the end of the day we still don't love each other. So
yeah,
that's what happened. They said Melly came, Sack Chaser was there. They had a disagreement. It led to a scuffle, and supposedly Sack Chaser knocked Melly's gold teeth out. But if you can see in the courtroom, Melly has platinum teeth. So
yeah. Oh, I got this question a lot too, and I watched your Instagram live last night. But you can tell about this because I got this one a lot.
What happened when the security had to go to the hall? All right, so this was also something that happened that day that caused Melly, like we said, to go outside of himself, and like you can read in lip like the lip reader could read, he said what he said, but it wasn't any animosity or any anger. He was just making sure his mom was okay. But people thought through his actions and not being able to hear what he's saying, they're like, oh, he's upset, and that went viral on all the social media. So, but what had happened was that it was two men in the back of the courtroom on Melly's gallery, on the Melly's side of the gallery. One got up and walked out, and I believe he walked back in not even 2 minutes later, and he called the other gentleman to come outside, or he waved the other gentleman to come outside, and then he looked at Melly and he pounded his chest with his fist 2 times and gave him a head nod and walked outside, and they both walked outside. Right after that, or no, the security or sheriff's officer saw it, and then they walked out too to ask, like, hey, what was that about? Thinking that it was a sign or some form of communication between them and Melly. They walk out, our sheriff walks out, he comes back in not even 2 seconds later and say, hey, we're gonna need some help out here. So, but we all walked outside and there was no commotion. So couldn't tell you what happened out there after that. I think the security went out there, or not security, but sheriff went out there and broke it up, sent everybody on their way, and went back into the courtroom.
Yeah, gotcha. How did Boom get his nickname?
Oh man, that's a first. That's not a first I've been asked that, but that's a first in a while that somebody has asked me that. So, like I said, I started a magazine in college. It was literally called Kaboom. So, and then I had formed a relationship with these friends, with this band. I had formed a friendship, not a relationship, but I formed a friendship with, and everybody just always called me Kaboom anyway because of the magazine. It was doing so well and it was popular. So, and I was the one that created it. But when I got around these guys and started hanging out with them and touring with them on a regular basis, one person just ended up calling me Boom all the time, and it just stuck, and we just went from there. And then I just made it my identity.
That's awesome. That's funny that you haven't been asked that in interviews.
Right?
Lately.
Nah.
Let's see. Oh, do you know who the female attorney passed the note to yesterday? Who Raven passed the note to?
No, nobody knows. She folded it up pretty small though, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known, but nah, she folded it up she wrote the note, folded it up pretty small. I would ideally say she gave it to Melly's mom.
Gotcha. There was also and it was caught on camera where Melly saw something that was on the table, and he looked at it and his eyes got wide, and then he reached down and he like folded it up and put it in his pocket. And we were all wondering what that was too. I was like, I wonder what that was. What was
Nobody knows. Nobody knows but him. He's the only one that saw it. I mean, you know what? The bailiff knows, and the people, the security that escorts him in and out the courtroom, they knew. But other than that, and maybe his defense team knows, but other than that, the judge. But yeah, outside of that, nobody else knows. Nobody knows.
Gotcha. Let's see. There was some stuff about the where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I've lost it. I had one of the emails that was pulled up that was asking about, it was something about Juvy's grandmother. Let me see if I can pull it up. I accidentally clicked out of everything. Oh, I've lost it. Here's another question. What was the conversation between Melly's lawyers and mom today? Oh, we saw the one attorney that looked like he was in a very serious conversation with the mom, and she seems like she's been kind of up and down, which I can't even imagine as a mom with your kid being, in a trial like this. But do you know what?
That would be a good question to ask. Hey, if you were a mother in this situation, I'm gonna ask that one. Hey, that's a good question. So, if you were a mother and during this trial, how would you be emotionally? That's
I would be just as up and down as she. I can't even imagine.
She's very calm. Like, if you've seen her in this courtroom, she is campaigning like she running for office. Like, she out here kissing babies, bringing candy, talking to all the sheriffs, being very polite, very friendly, very approachable. She always got a smile on her face, except for during certain parts of the case. But other than that, man, you would think she is running for office. She is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she is very positive about her son not being found guilty.
I don't think that, and this is something I've said on street too. Melly was 19 when this happened, and my son is 19. So actually, I'm like,
he was 18. He was 18 when this happened.
Oh, he was 18.
All right, yeah, 18 no, he was 19. You're right. He was 19. He turned himself in February of 2019. So yeah, when he was 19 years old. So yes, he had to be 19 at the time. So yeah,
it's crazy.
Now,
my kid is 19. So that's one thing that I've thought of a lot too with this is, like, okay, maybe Jamie's not like, June Cleaver or whatever, like, the mom that's at home, like typical mom. I mean, she's like in his videos and, throwing him stripper parties and stuff, but a mom is a mom. And I'm not the typical June Cleaver either, like I'm not.
So you saying you ain't gonna throw your son a stripper party? That's what you saying?
Look, there are a lot of things I'll do for my kid because I love him, but there are two things you should never see together, and that's your mom and strippers. So no, those two things, I will never throw him a stripper party. There's a lot of things I'll do for him. I'll bake him a cake, but no stripper parties for my kid. Oh gosh, but I can't imagine the emotions that she would have going through this, and not to take anything away from the emotions of the victims' moms, obviously, because again, I relate to them too. Jacob is about their son's age, with this happening. So, but as a mom of a kid that age, I can't even imagine. So when I've seen your tweets about the tension between them, I can totally understand that. And I'm actually surprised that it hasn't gotten a lot worse than it has, because I don't know that I'd be able to stay calm during all of that.
I don't know. I'm not a mother nor a parent right now, so I can't.
It's overrated.
It's over there.
I was joking. Don't tell my kid I said that.
I mean, he gonna see this.
Yeah, he don't watch me. He's not a fan. Actually, he might be though, because you're on here. Let's see. I know I'm so behind on chat. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat. There was a big YNW rap group with multiple members. Why aren't his closest friends sticking up for him?
They are. Most of the people in YNW are still, the ones that are still alive are, they're saying like, you guys don't know. And there's some that split off and splintered off and had their own opinions, but the ones that were like the main core members are still like, we don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened that night. We're going off what our friend says. Why would he have to lie to us or whatnot? So, but the collective, the core collective was Portland, Juvie, Sack Chaser, and Melly. And they had a couple other ones like YNW Gunna, who was featured on Melly's last project that came out in like 2021. But a lot of the other ones are probably fairly new, or weren't as active at that time. So it's been 4 years. So a lot can transpire. Look at his younger brother B Slime. It was YNW B Slime, and now he's identified his own or made his own identity. Now he's just B Slime and doing great as an artist. Or he's still on the rise, but he's very promising.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And he and Bortland have they've done stuff together recently, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they still all tight knit and whatnot. So I mean, but actually, B Slime said he just started getting back into doing music because when he first came out, he popped off. He was like in the 6th grade, so he said he still needed time to mature and grow up and really fall in love with music before he got into it. Now he's much older and getting into it. So taking it serious.
Gotcha. Okay, so so we have this thing called a trial daddy calendar where anybody that's like
what is a trial daddy calendar?
Okay, so anybody that we find in like our different trials that I cover and stuff that are, because my demographic is the statistically is majority of women. And we do have a trial mama's calendar too, but so anytime there's what the ladies think is a trial daddy, it's a good looking dude that they see in something with the court stuff that I'm covering, then they nominate him and they get entered into a calendar. So you have officially been nominated and seconded to be entered into our trial daddy's calendar. So I will, when I enter you in, I'll send you the link. It'll be on my website, so I'll send you the link so you can see it. But you've
oh man, I appreciate it. I can't wait to tell my homeboys and everybody. They're gonna have the most stank look on their face. Awkward look on their face, but yeah, I mean, my girl gonna be like, okay, I need to be involved in this, but it's all right. Let's do it. Let's rock out.
Look, we got another one for you too. You're officially going to be on the calendar. I'll get them put in, and I'll get the link for y'all.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
And let's see. We have Pam says, "Have you seen this judge laugh or smile at all?"
Laugh or smile at all? I can honestly say no. He's not laughed or no, he hasn't laughed or smiled at all because it's nothing been funny about him dealing with these two. Like I posted today on Twitter, it's like him dealing with like, how you being a mother, you gotta, I don't know if Jacob is your only son or if you have more kids, but how you gotta, break up the kids, no matter how old they are. They could be 21 and the other one can be 5 and they still bicker and fight with each other like they the same age. But yeah, no, I haven't seen him laugh or smile at all. He's too busy dealing with the defense and prosecution over here and their debacles every day, all day long. And then one trying to slip stuff in, one keeps saying objection. One keeps trying to slip stuff in after they've been told no, and one just keeps saying objection. And even when you have to say, hey, look, don't say objection right now. That's a lot. So.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I would be annoyed if I were him too, especially yesterday. Yesterday was the day that I feel like, because I wake up at 5:30 in the morning because I'm in Florida, but I'm in the Panhandle, so I have to get up at 5:30, to get everything ready for, to start at 7:45, and so I'm like, dang, we had, the one was sick. I was like, dang, I could have slept. They're not starting back till 1:30. And then we finally start. And then the entire day was sidebars and arguments and nothing happening. And craziness. Let's see. Are there any other questions or any other things that I know we've taken up a lot of your time and I appreciate you hanging out with us.
I was deeply involved. I thought you had more questions.
Good. I thought you were. I saw you look at your watch. I was like, oh, he's ready to go.
I'm not ready to watch.
Okay. Oh, then I don't know what I saw you looking at. Okay, good. Let's keep going. Tell Boom's girl that they don't want to get you in trouble for nominating you for the trial daddy stuff.
Oh, that's just wrong. You didn't have to say it like that.
They don't want to get you in trouble. They want you to be able to come back and hang out with us again.
All right, no problem. I appreciate you making that statement, making that very clear. it actually saves me a lot of back and forth. So yeah.
So yeah, she could come on with us too next time if that makes her
Right.
uh not so mad at the women for nominating you.
Nah,
uh
she'll appreciate it. She'll be loving just like with the rest of y'all.
Oh, people keep asking this. I've had a bunch of people ask this today. I had 4 emails about this. The lady in the gallery with blue hair. Do you know who that is?
Lady in the gallery with blue hair.
It must have happened today because I didn't, or I mean, maybe not. I haven't seen it, but I got all the emails.
I don't know about blue hair, but I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of girls in there that change. You know, y'all got wigs and everything else under the sun. Y'all could come in blonde one day and dark purple the next, and silver, platinum the day after. So no, I haven't seen any woman with blue hair that's that distinctive. So no.
Yeah. All right, gotcha.
If you got a picture, I can probably help you out if you show me a picture.
I didn't even see. So a lot of times when they show the gallery, I'm making notes about different things for my recaps and stuff. So I missed it. But all right, let's see what other questions we had. Okay, this one's, do you believe that it wasn't his phone? They made such a big deal about how the phone, like the plan's in his mom's name, and
Right.
do you believe it's his phone with the 10,000 selfies on it?
I don't know if it's his phone with 10,000 selfies on it. I don't know any man with 10,000 selfies on it, with a phone with 10,000 selfies. So I can't confirm that it's his. So, but these dudes all stay together. They all share the same phones. So it could have been anybody's phone. And the 10,000 pictures could have been all 4 of them just clumped up together. So no, I can't say that it was his phone or not. So.
Gotcha. Let's see. Oh, they're saying that the lady with the blue hair was sitting on the front row near Melly's mom, so that I guess they're thinking maybe she was another family member or something.
It could have been his, no, it could have been his little sister, YNW Jules. It could have been her.
Oh, gotcha. How old is she?
I'm not sure. She's not she's not a child. She is more of a young adult than anything.
Gotcha.
Or a teenager. She might be a teenager, might be 17, 18.
Yeah. Let's see. Why is Juvie's dad convinced Melly did it over money?
We don't know. They say that was the whole reason behind. That was the whole initial reason behind him allegedly murdering Sack Chaser and Juvie, was because they believed that Sack Chaser believed that Melly owed him $230,000 from a record deal, but there's been no paperwork, no trail, no nothing that shows that was even a thing. That was even something that was going to happen, or that was something that was promised, or that was something that was in the works, whether the label or whatnot. When at this point in time, YNW wasn't really known as a collective. It was really just known as YNW Melly. Now they knew they had a group that had Sack Chaser, Juvie, Portland in it, but it was more Melly as the star that was the center focus, and didn't have where he was like, oh, okay, you guys, you can't accept me without accepting everybody else. Like, it was more like, hey, we're going to develop Melly, make sure he blows up to be a superstar, and then we'll just slowly add Juvie, we'll slowly add Sack Chaser, Portland, Gunna, everybody else comes along once Melly was solidify himself in a position where he could just easily push buttons and make things happen for each member of the group. So that was what it was at the time. So it's hard to say that it was even an issue of money now. And they all lived in the same house. Now I can understand where the money situation would come into play with that, because you're still dealing with men at the end of the day, and they still want to have their own, not really depend on somebody else. And obviously when somebody becomes a star, there's obviously jealousy and envy that come into play, or greed, or like with the money situation, or anything under the sun can happen when it comes to being a rising star. So
Gotcha. All right, let's see what. Oh, I'm Bryson's girlfriend, and I don't know what he was nominated for, but I'm here for it.
see,
we'll send. Okay, so we're not in trouble. All right, so we'll send the link. Let's see. Oh, this was okay. So Madam CJ No Walker says, I have a phone just for TikTok content. So this was something somebody said today too.
You sound like every other woman that or young adult, that a young female adult. Everybody got a side phone for just strictly social media content. So,
yeah.
Or just social media, just applications in general.
Gotcha. Let's see what else we have. I'm behind on chat, so I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. It says, there's your reasonable doubt, all of them using the same phones. My thing with the phone is is what she's saying about that they have the proof of him giving out that specific phone number, whatever she said, like over a dozen times in the past however many weeks or months it was, which she said that in openings or whatever it was. We haven't seen that evidence yet, but she said that. So I've been kind of waiting to see that. If he's giving out that number, then that makes it a little bit harder to say that it was somebody else's phone. But if they do all swap phones, then yeah, it's going to be harder. But she mentioned that. I just
if they all swap phones like they say, it would be almost impossible to say that Melly was the one that had the phone at the time, or it was Melly's phone.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Melly had texted his girlfriend's mom that the other guys were mad. I don't know why the lawyers bring that up. I missed that. I don't know about the text about.
Yeah, I don't remember that one either. I don't remember a text saying that. Yeah, even if that was the case. So if they're talking about Mariah Hamilton and they're talking about Felicia Holmes, obviously we could just all use the same statement. I don't know. I don't recall. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So that closes the book on that, the whole texting, them getting mad.
Oh yeah, we know that people love that I don't remember in this. that's like Felicia's favorite tagline for all of her stuff. I don't recall. I don't remember. Let's see what other questions we have. Is the evidence regarding him giving out his phone number coming in? She said it was. But there's still. We're still only on day 6, so
it hasn't came out yet. But no, I'm not sure. It's not anything that has been revealed, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Let's see what else. The phone is one of those things that people were very split on in the chat. Because there are some things that, and I always say, like, I have an open mind on things, but there are some things that it would take a lot to convince me otherwise. And it would take a lot to convince me that it's not his phone. And I've said this before. Now, have they proven that it was in his hand? No. Like, it's only day 6. We still got a lot to go. So who knows if they can or not, or, what else is going to come out. I believe it was his phone. they haven't put it in his hand yet. So, we'll see what happens with all that. But, why does it feel like this trial has been going on so much longer than 6 days?
So because of most of the start and stops. Because of most start and stops, that's what it's been. It's been a lot of pause, a lot of objections, a lot of recesses, a lot of lunch breaks, a lot of we're going to close early for the day, and we don't have trial on Fridays.
Yeah. And the whole week of 4th of July, which works out great for me because I'm going to be on a boat in the Caribbean. But that's a long time because there's no.
That doesn't mean that does not mean that whole week you're not going to get new information about this trial. So you have to make sure you follow me on Twitter. make sure you follow me on Instagram, and I'm gonna make sure that I can find whatever dirt or whatever mess or whatever evidence we can find or whatever proof that we can find to prove anything as far as these questions that you guys are asking. I will make sure to do that throughout that week.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And if you put in exclamation point boom in our in the chat, it'll bring up his. I think we got your link tree on there, so
right.
So you'll be able to pull all that up. And then we have Virginia wants to know if I take a poll, guilty or not guilty, what will be Boom's vote? I'm up in the air right now. It's still too hard to. It's still too early to say. Not too hard. It's still too early to say. Like I said before, it's just a chess match right now. It's to see who makes the better moves, really. And the defense has been making a lot of the better moves right now. But if you know chess, it can turn around at any point in time, and you can make one mistake that could be so detrimental that you lose the whole game. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on so much. I know we have another show starting in about 10 minutes for our we have a night court thing.
Facts.
I didn't expect you to hang out with us this long. I'm so excited you did. And everybody, it's been in chat. I don't know if you have the chat pulled up on yours or if you could see it, but I've had everybody keeps asking if you'll come back too. Like if maybe you'll check back in with us in like a week or so and kind of give us some
facts. If you ask me to, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, I appreciate it so much. Y'all put in exclamation point boom if you want to check him out. And then I know y'all hear me say it every single day, but his Twitter is the one that we read and follow when we are in the stream. So make sure you check him out. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us.
No problem. I appreciate you guys just following my tweets and just showing me so much appreciation. So
yeah, we love you.
This was my first court case doing this. So.
Well, you're doing an awesome job. Like, because we can watch the trial stuff, but it's all that behind the scenes juicy stuff that we like to hear too. And you get us all that kind of stuff, like the who's making faces at who and who's mad at who, and like the whole elevator thing and like the heart and all that. I was like, oh, y'all listen to what he just said. I love that stuff. So
right. For sure. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys giving me all the support. It means a lot.
All right. Thank you so much. Y'all, if you want to stay on, we are going to portal you over for the for night court so that you can check out the Jody Arias and JT because he's going to be starting in 10 minutes. Boom. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I will send y'all the link when we have him officially entered in on the Trial Daddies calendar too. So
all right. Hopefully I can win.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. No problem. You guys have a good night.
All right. You too.
Hey, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.